How beautiful on the mountain are the feet of those that bring news of good tidings. Behold, the great messenger of God, the beloved father-founder of the Religious Institute of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Mother of Christ, which existed from 1937, planted with the pioneer twin sisters, Maria Anyogu and Clara Oranu, great daughters of Onisha Ado Nidu in Onisha Archdiocese. That tender seed, watered and nurtured by the Holy Rosary Sisters, has turned out an Iroko tree with branches stretched far and wide, spreading God's salvation message everywhere. Archbishop Charles Hiri, the first Archbishop of Onisha and great Irish missionary, was born on 29 November 1890 in County Cavan, Ireland, and was ordained priest in 1921. In November 1922, he arrived in Nigeria and worked with great zeal in Calabar and Ibariam. He was appointed coadjutor bishop to Bishop Joseph Shanahan on 27 January 1927. And on 29 May 1927, he was consecrated bishop. He was a man of tremendous apostolic zeal and of spiritual depth, a man of deep faith, humility and compassion, who taught by word and example. He succeeded Bishop Shanahan on 21 May 1931 as the Vicar Apostolic of Southern Nigeria. His experiences while working among the people in the various districts of Calabar and Ibariam, as he visited the sick, especially the lepers, women and children, deeply moved him to compassion, to see how to bring medical help to them and to work for the upliftment of women. Now, as Vicar Apostolic, he made it his priority to work towards ameliorating the sufferings of the sick by providing adequate medical services as well as ensuring proper pastoral care. His 40 years of apostolic ministry saw the establishment and development of the indigenous clergy and religious, as well as the establishment of colleges and hospitals, etc. There was not a single Catholic hospital or secondary school in the entire vicariate of southern Nigeria before 1931. He built the first Catholic hospital in Igbo land at Emekuku in 1935, Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital at Ihiala in 1937. And in 1939, it was blessed and raised to a hospital with 8 iron beds brought from Ireland by Bishop Hiri. He built a network of maternity homes and dispensaries at Oguta, Nnewi, Ozubulu, Ihioma, Umuchima, and Amibo, etc. Archbishop Hiri also built secondary schools for boys. Christ the King College, CKC, Onisha, in 1931. College of Immaculate Conception, CIC, Enugu, in 1942. He stepped up action to upgrade the education of girls in the vicariate. He blessed and opened the first Teachers Training College at Onisha on 2nd February 1935 with 8 young girls, which was later transferred to Ihiala. In 1937, he built and opened Loreto Teachers Training College for women at Adazi. On 22nd August 1942, he blessed and opened the Queen of the Holy Rosary College, Enugu, which was later transferred to its permanent site at Oguta Road, Onisha, in 1949. In 1943, the Holy Rosary College for the training of female teachers was also opened at Enugu. St. Joseph's Teachers Training College, Aba, came into existence in 1946, and in 1948, Archbishop Hiri also built a training college and vocational center at Okigwe. He established the All Hallows Junior Seminary, Onisha, and the Bigad Memorial Senior Seminary, Enugu, to ensure effective training of the indigenous priests. He founded the Catholic Women Organization in Eastern Nigeria, which today has spread throughout Nigeria and beyond. He inaugurated the Onitsha Archdiocesan Council of the Catholic Women Organization on 5th May 1964, with Mrs. V.V.I. Okoye as the organizer.
In 1962, the Catholic Women of America gave Nigerian government scholarship to train 16 Nigerian women in America. After this training, I came back. I wrote a report to National Council of Catholic Women and then to Archbishop Hiri of blessed memory. After that of general report, actually he asked me to explain in full, and I did that. Archbishop Hiri gets all the bishops around Kaduna Province, Lagos Ecclesiastical Province, and the Onitsha Ecclesiastical Provinces. Onitsha was 16 dioceses then in the Ecclesiastical Province, and they told them about this program. He gave me 2 Reverend Sisters to advise women and listen to my leadership training. The name of these 2 sisters was Holy Rose Mother Magdalene, Red, and the Reverend Sister Anyacho of Immaculate Heart Sisters. So we started touring all the towns in Anambra State, which was the then Onitsha Archdiocese. At the end of the touring, he gave us a spiritual director in the name of Right Reverend Monsignor Obelago. He opened the seminar at Onitsha exactly in May 5, 1964. And he invited the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. He invited some of the bishops who sent their spiritual directors and their women. Bishop Quelan sent his spiritual director and some women. Bishop Finn of Ibadan sent his spiritual director and some women. Of course, Catholic Secretariat directors. Father Makosi, working at Catholic Secretariat, was interested. He told the women of Lokoja, and they came, Mr. Audi and others. So the seminar, 500 women. With the report of my seminar at Onitsha and these people reacting, the WUPO secretary came in 1965. And after seeing us, they approved us for national body. So these 2 provinces became a national body in August 1965. Archbishop Hiri, the founder of Immaculate Heart Sisters, was also the founder of CWO, Onitsha Archdiocese. And then later on, it spread all over the country, including Ghana, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone had already started with our sister from Nigeria. I am very grateful to our father, Archbishop Hiri. I cannot talk enough about Archbishop Hiri. He was a teacher, a father. His main concern is to promote the growth of women in Nigeria, starting from Onitsha Archdiocese. He had already started the Immaculate Heart Sisters, but he still wants a leadership of a Nigerian woman married by a Nigerian man. Let me tell you, however we grow, we are under the Reverend Sisters. Archbishop Hiri told me, know your God, obey the priest, and respect the religious working with you. No Reverend Sister will say I have insulted her in my leadership. It was a mandate given to me. I handed this respect unblemished to my women. Without Archbishop Hiri, God first, there will not be V.V.I. Okoye as of today. It's Hiri that brushed me out. He just carved me out from a stone after God's creation and made me bright and the famous Miss V.V.I. Okoye as I am now. Do you know that Archbishop Hiri will give me £1 every month and asked me to use it. If I go to any meeting and women were donating 10 shillings, 5 pence, add another shilling and say 11 shillings so that I will be the champion. He just made me. People don't know why I am always at first seat in it. Because it's what time you are hearing what about me and my women. If you see me teaching my women how to walk, how to dress, you would know that this is the VVIO that Archbishop Biri get women, Mama Agwebunam and others, to teach me how to tie wrapper. And that wrapper, I do not know how to tie it, even get tie. So I don't know how to talk about Archbishop Biri, our father, who founded you and founded us. My only problem, and I want God to make it possible, that CWO Nigeria, we know that we are of the same parentage, especially Immaculate Heart. That's our origin. Archbishop Biri founded you and founded us. Thank you.
The Religious Institute of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Mother of Christ, which he founded in 1937 with 2 female teachers, Maria Anyogu, the late Mother Mary Bernadette, and Clara Oranu, the late Mother Mary Magdalene, is his greatest achievement among many others in Nigeria. These sisters, urged by the Spirit of Christ and their founder, work tirelessly towards the realization of the aims of their foundation, namely, the glory of God, the greater sanctification of its members, the training of women and girls for marriage and other sacraments, the education of children in schools, the special care of the sick and aged in hospitals, leprosaria, the care of orphans, and any other works of charity in keeping with the spirit of our foundation. From the beginning of our religious institute, caring for our elderly and the sick members of our communities was never a problem, perhaps because members were younger. When anyone became sick, all attention went to her to help her regain her health. As the first generation of our religious family naturally grew older in age, the apostolate widened with increased demand for our sisters in the different areas of the Church's mission. During and after the Nigerian Civil War, some became weak and sick. As time went on, it became difficult to adequately care for these elderly ones within active community setup on account of the demands of apostolate. Thus, the need to bring them together for holistic care. Since then, it has been in the mind of the Institute to put up a befitting and conducive care home for these sisters. Increase in number necessitated equal increase in age. Of course, the result became obvious. Retirement ensued. Various chapters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary Religious Institute observed the rapid growth. Consideration on the holistic care of our elders was kindled, but it was precisely in the General Chapter of 1987 that through the inspiration of Reverend Mother Louis Marie Ezenkwele, the then Superior General of our congregation, the issue was first brought to light. The topic was not wholly welcomed. In 1987, Reverend Mother Louis Marie Ezenkwele, during one of her visits overseas, surveyed about 5 different care homes of male and female to get a general overview of their settings and operations. During the 6th General Chapter of 1987, she related her findings in her comprehensive report to the chapter. Consequently, this topic came up in various forms at the 6th, 7th, and 8th General Chapters of our congregation, acceding to the need to provide our elderly and sick sisters with holistic care in terms of infrastructure, professional medical team staff, balanced diet, recreational facilities and adequate space, professional gadgets to enhance individual hobbies, occupational therapy, and all-round care. Mother Mary Joseph Ann Anochie has an eloquent testimony to this.
As far as I can remember, the idea of having an elderly sister's home came up during the time of Mother Louis Marie as a superior general. As our congregation was growing older, our sisters were also aging, and some were incapacitated due to ill health, and they needed proper care. The sisters asked the administration to assign a sister full-time to take care of those people in their various communities. That was not practically possible because most of the sisters were absorbed in the apostolates. The number of sisters were too small to assign a sister to each sick person or elderly person. So the idea of putting them all together in a place and assigning some sisters, so we had to think of a place where to take care of them. First of all, we had them sort of in Ihala community, a hospital community, to make it easier for them to get medical attention whenever they needed. So our administration decided, in spite of some oppositions from sisters, to have it at Mpo, where it would be easy for them to attend most of our ceremonies. So we had a hospital, a big hospital, a 200-bedded hospital, approved by the ministry. Within this hospital, we have a section constructed or planned for them where they will have all the facilities needed. The sisters will be available because this hospital would be a congregational hospital. When there's difficulty, the nurses in the hospital will also help. They needed a conducive environment to relax and feel that they are being taken care of, and they would lack nothing because the spiritual facilities will be available, medical facilities will be available, and the plan was made and approved by the ministry. But unfortunately, we had not the funds to start that big project. Later on, Mother Mary Dominica Odita started it at Uguta Road. They were all brought together from wherever they were and taken care of. It has proved very small for the number of sisters. So the present administration started this new one.
Mother Mary Dominica has her own contributions.
The call for a nursing home was repeated in the chapter of 1999, but still the elderly sisters were reluctant until the chapter of 2005. We saw that these sisters could no longer cared for in their various communities because it was taking toll on the sisters in their apostolate. So we began to think seriously of finding a place for them. Fortunately for us, Mother Mary Joseph Uzigwe laid a foundation in 1977, but it was not completed until one day Sister Rosemariet, who was running a compassionate home for abandoned children and derelicts in Oketiti, approached us and said, could she continue that house? We said, by all means. Then, when the house was started, it was all hands on deck. All of us had to mobilize the resources we have to get it finished. We decided that it's not only the sisters working in the ecclesiastical department and the nursery primary Good Shepherd that will go there, that will now bring in our elderly sisters and begin to care for them. And our dreams came through in 2010 when the house was completed and the Archbishop, Most Reverend Valerian Maduka Okeke, came and commissioned that home for our elderly sisters. And we all heaved a good sigh of relief, and that was beginnings of care for our elderly sisters.
While the Institute battled on how to settle her elders adequately, our sister Rosemariet Ndupu, an apostle of the elderly and the abandoned, was also struggling with her call to be the Mother Teresa of Nigeria.
That came up as inspiration, which I carried for several years. It wasn't all that easy because nobody could understand. I nurtured this vocation for about 5 years. Nobody understands. And myself, I couldn't see how I can do the work because I wasn't feeling healthy. I don't have the finance. I had to ask for dispensation. I went to the monastery in order to run away from it. When I arrived there, it continued. I had to come out because I was on rest. When I came back, I asked to go mission so that to avoid it. And when I went, I was asked to come back. The first person I opened my heart to was now Bishop Hilary Okeke. He encouraged me to meet the Archbishop, our Superior General. Right, he discussed with the Archbishop. I had to discuss the problem with the Archbishop, late Archbishop Albert, who gave the permission. What he told me, Sister Rose, I can't sponsor such a project. I only told Archbishop that what I would like from him is nothing but blessing and approval. This he happily gave me more than me her blessing and asked me to start off in Oki. And we started with nothing. The community where I was living cooperated. They helped me. At a point, the bill went so high, and they were asking Sister, what? I said, divine providence we see to it. And until today, we still depend on divine providence. It was because of the plight of the abandoned people in the society. Because in our society now, when you look out due to the modern life, most of our families do not take care of their elderly as they usually do in former times. Most of them are abandoned with the faith that they are witches, they are the ones that caused misfortune in the family. Most of them are at home, bedridden, hungry, have nobody to take care of them. So when the inspiration came that we should go as a congregation and start taking care of the abandoned, especially the elderly, it was kicked off 1999. Initially when it was kicked off, it wasn't welcomed in that people did not accept it. They said it's not our culture.
Yes, there was a sigh of relief. But the need for expansion could not be overemphasized because some of our elderly sisters still reside in our communities.
During that period, we also saw that that home will not accommodate our sisters. So we got architect Moses Aja to draw a plan for us at Mpong, which will accommodate both the sisters in the main convent and the elderly sisters. But the amount that was quoted for building it was nowhere to be found. So we just rested and decided to manage with what we have until the proper time when the money will be there and the people that will continue with the work. And thanks be to God, the present administration deemed it fit to continue with the holistic care of these our elderly sisters by building the permanent site at Mpong.
In 2012, during the celebration of the Diamond Jubilee of our religious institute, Reverend Mother Mary Claude Ogwu, the incumbent Superior General, proposed as our Diamond Jubilee projects the construction of the permanent home for our elderly members at Mpo, the Villa Mater Christi Sisters Retirement Home, and the building of a youth center for the religious formation of our youths at Amobia, the Mater Christi Youth Religious Formation and Counseling Center.
During our Diamond Jubilee celebration in 2012, it occurred to me that we need something to commemorate and remember that great celebration. The two projects that came to mind was the expansion of our elderly sisters' care home and a religious and counseling center for young people, seminarians, priests, families, and individuals that might need therapy or counseling, all geared towards formation of the human person, which is at the heart of our father founder. He specifically entrusted to the congregation the care of youth, of elderly and sick people, maternities and hospitals, preparation of young girls for marriage, and sacraments. For this purpose, we decided that we put up a counseling center and a religious formation for young people that will take care of all these activities. Another one is this home for care of our elderly sisters. We also adopted this because our father founder instructed us to care for the sick and elderly. Since the immediate past central administration have started this in Uguta Road, we also adopted as our Diamond Jubilee project the erection of a permanent home for our sick and elderly sisters. Through divine providence, in 2012, we presented to all those who came for that celebration these two projects. People donated towards its realization. And precisely on the 24th of November 2012, the foundation stone for this Mater Christi Elderly Sisters Retirement Home for our own sisters was laid. And since then, as though a dream, work started and continued until today, the 6th of August 2012, when this house is officially blessed and opened by His Lordship, Most Reverend Dennis Isuzo, the Auxiliary Bishop of Onitsha Archdiocese. This project is our mark of thanksgiving to them and the gratitude for what they are and for what they have done for the congregation. Also, to express our dedication, commitment to this apostolate that so much expresses our charism of compassion to the sick and elderly, to Him who is more capable of giving more than we ask, glory, honor, adoration, and thanksgiving forever and ever. Amen.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher. Let us hear from some of our missionary sisters who have worked in various geriatric homes.
Sister Mary Benjamin Eluchukwu, a missionary for almost 22 years in Italy. I've worked in different old people's homes. First was Benasco, Torino. It's the old people of about 50 at the start when we met them. Gradually they increased to 100, and my experience there in Torino was very interesting. Granted, they are back to childhood, but they are handled with honor and care. By discovering their gifts and their talents and where their interest lies, There is one, after we have washed the plate, we'll be wondering because she will pack it in their sizes. So we made her in charge of the workers who used to wash the plates. In the morning, when she gets up after breakfast, she will wear her apron and continue rushing to the pantry. And the day she fell down and she was told that she will no more go to the laundry, she got paralyzed. So that encouragement of showing them that they are still valuable, they are still needed in the congregation, and they are still needed in the communities, that this place is not getting them abandoned. And when you see that they are still helpful somewhere, you put them there. It's still in that very old people's home. And you see that the old people's home will be functioning very well. And sometimes when you are paying your workers, you give them 1 naira. Only that 1 naira, if you see how happy they are. There are some of them who help in the laundry to fold the clothes of those who cannot use their hand again. Their food needs to be prepared in a way that it is balanced. Because sometimes they reject every food. But when you put the necessary ingredients in their food, more of vegetable and fruits. So when you cook the vegetable, you can grind it, you cook it soft. Some of them can no more help themselves. You have to lift them to go to bed. You have to lift them to put them in the seat. Some of them are very heavy because of their height and their weight. So you don't go lifting and carrying patients alone. You harm yourself and harm that very client. It is better you look for companion. Lifting the legs, there is a method of doing it. Almost all of them have constipation. And that is why they reject food. Because some of them have been very active in their life. They will tell you that they want to go to the service area. And then when they enter there, if your mind didn't go there, she may stay there 3 or 4 hours because of constipation. But when you help them, every morning you give them a little bit of warm water, or when they go to the service area, they don't even need your assistance. Some of them who are bedridden, you also assist them. A lot of patience is needed. Sometimes they can't dictate where their pains are coming from. We know how to help him or her out. It may not even be giving her a drop. It may be only putting a hot water bottle because maybe she got some air and the muscles here started paining her and she will be shouting and crying. Or the tummy may be overhead. So you just put hot water bottle, very tepid, and put it on her. Within 30 minutes or 1 hour, she's released. Some of them don't even know when they are satisfied. So they are guided. Most of them don't sleep at all at night. Don't force them to go to bed earlier. Keep them doing something that will distract them. In their place, they watch TV. They do physiotherapy. Physiotherapy may be only sitting down and raising up their legs. They have learned how to count. Some of them don't use counting. They use Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Ave Maria. After doing this little exercise, they are weak. Go to bed, they sleep. Their mouth is very necessary. Immediately they finish eating, give them a little water and salt to rinse their mouth. Because they are staying at a place, there is no more circulation as such in the toe. At least 2 or 3 times in a week, you bring tepid water. And there is a salt they call bicarbonate. Put small there. It helps also circulation. After you have put their leg there, for 15 or 20 minutes, you bring it out and dry it very well. Keep them there. When they are comfortable, you will enjoy them.
Sister Mary Matilda Nuyama, I'm a missionary. I had 10 years experience with Daughters of Charity, sisters, working for them in their old people's home section. So I worked in another town called Torino and then Sicily. Looking after old people is just endurance. Most of the time, as they grow old, they begin to deteriorate in their mentality. Those with mental problem, we have psychologists and psychiatrists. They come there to help them. Here, hospital is very close, and some of our sisters are doctors, so I know they will be taken care of very well. What they need most is attention, enough hands in order to take care of them. Because lying at a place, they used to have sores and the rest. We need something like a sick bay where they will be placed, and then we look after them. When we cannot help, then they can be taken to hospital. We need some nurses also that will help. Their family members come to visit them. At times they take them home. They feel so happy they have seen their people once a while. So that's what I also encourage.
Concerning their feeding, you have to grind the meat, grind the fruit, it becomes food juice. And
enough water. You don't give them alcohol. You give them something that will nourish their body. After breakfast, we bring them out to receive the fresh air and the sun. But if the sun is strong, we bring them inside. Those who can knit, those who can sew, you give them something to sew. During recreation, you put song or anything they value. Those who can dance, you encourage them by dancing yourself.
Wow! Now let the elders share their sentiments.
Of gratitude and thanks to God for this opportunity of caring. And we thank immensely our Reverend Mother General and those who assist her for all the good arrangements they have made to provide for us. We thank all those looking after us. We are very grateful.